Welcome back to the League of Extraordinary Heroes Digital Design and Fabrication series. We build, play, and revel, and this is how we do it. Today, I'm going to show you how to make some things that would lead to making leaves and acanthus designs like this around your crest, and that should be quite an adventure. So you can always stop and play the video back if you miss something. Of course, I'm available in class if you need to ask further. Okay, with a few caveats here. Here's behind the scenes. Wow, it doesn't look so, looks a little weird. But what we're mostly doing is viewing it from the front, and we're gonna make it something called a Z buffer. Z buffer. That's Zulu in airport military phonetic alphabet. Z, Zulu. So it's Z buffer. Z buffer is going to make a map that basically goes from light to dark to suggest to inform the router at what depths it will cut. So the actual mesh isn't even being used. It's just using the mesh to project an elevation, if you will, and that is what's going to give us a great shield to put on your wall, or crest, or a blazon to put on your wall. They're actually different things, but we'll use them synonymously right now. Okay, let's go and make sure we. Okay, we start with this curve. I've showed many of you how to do this prior. I don't want to repeat things we've gone over before, but we start with a curve. This one, of course, is built with Bezier curves and Bezier tangents, and that's going to allow us to make something quite pleasing. Now, we have to do a profile because we're going to use something called sweep mesh. It's located here, sweep mesh right here. We can look at that, sweep mesh. Wow, there's two options, one node for each curve or multiples. We'll just use a node for one. So we'll click that. Hold on, let's make sure we select it properly and try. Now, it is making this interface in the attribute editor. Let's minimize these for clarity. We're going to do custom, and it's going to say curve object. What do you want? A curve, a poly object, polyface, and so on. New curve object. Select this one. Now it's applying that profile to it. Wow, it's looking pretty wild. No problem. We're going to go in and still edit. You go to Sweep Mesh Creator, and you're going to make a few adjustments. You can scale the profile first of all. That's always helpful. You can also rotate the profile. Now this really impresses me here. But one notch cooler, you can twist it. So you could do a couple of things like this. And already you're starting to get something that looks very sculptorally. Something that you might see on a very fancy building, or a gravestone or something, a castle. See all of these kinds of things. I am hoping to go in and modify this curve. So I'm selecting everything that has to do with this form. And I'm going to shift deselect by dragging on the mesh to get to the curve here. I'm going to go to Control Verts. I'm going to take this tangent at the end and straighten it out so it's not such a mess. You can roll that until it's a little less tangled. Now, that's already looking rather beautiful. It is cutting through itself a bit though. That is because of the precision. If you go to the precision, by default it's 75%. If you raise that up, those things tend to go away. Maybe I'm twisting it too hard. Let's relax the twist a bit here and see if we can get back to something. You know what? I'm going to put it where I thought looked beautiful. Looks beautiful there. I'm going to adjust the profile. It's all connected, so every move I make on this, in theory, should adjust. Oh, now we can make it chunkier. That's actually really satisfying, because to edit that manually, going in and beefing up the edges and all that is really takes forever. It's very tedious. Now you'll realize when I try to undo, the computer's a little challenged with this. I'm also recording a video as we speak. I can also taper. If you haven't seen that, you can taper it. Now, I wouldn't taper it all the way down because what I'm finding is there's something cooler. A taper curve. Now, this can edit the profile. I'm going to start with a really fat end. So I'm going to keep that up high. I'm just going to click with my left mouse button. Make a thick edge. Let's just bring it over like that. So everything to that point is large. Then we maybe taper it just a little bit and then swell back up to a very an end over here that's very full. If you study these acanthus leaves and things, which we can do, you're going to realize through the centuries it's evolved. It started with the Greek sculptor. He saw a bunch of, I didn't have the info. I had the info here. He saw a bunch of these leaves growing. They grow in the Mediterranean. They're very, very lush, and they're used for many healing practices. But so these leaves have the symbolism of healing or making one recognize suffering, because it does have thorns on it. Recognize suffering and then of course triumph. So it's much of a hero's kind of a thing. I think all of us want to be remembered in some great way like that. Let's just go with that. I'm going to increase the precision just to show you that it can look very elegant, but I'm going to reduce it down. Let's look at it. It's pretty neat. It does have a little bit of bunching, so if I was to improve that, I would select both. The curve is getting selected, but in X-ray or wireframe mode, we can go into the curve. That's why it's bunching. The tangents on the Bezier curve are broken. They're bent, so that makes a little kink up right there and makes it less graceful. Now, Baroque is a word used to define much of the art in the Renaissance, and it had imperfect curves. So we need to embrace the imperfection, as we need to do in ourselves, and do our best with it and acknowledge it for what it is. It's something beautiful. Alright, so with that, I think that looks really, really neat. Looks like it's going to be very successful. Okay, with that, we're going to go in and we're going to start making a couple branching things from here. So if I reduce the position down to something more like this, that allows me to do some breakaways here. So if I went to this face and started to extrude in this face, let's do both of them. This is where it's endless. You could go all sorts of things. I'm holding down Shift to get an extrusion, of course pulling it forward, and of course from the side we want all of these designs and these leaves to lay over so that we can better see their form in a bas relief kind of way, chase and repose effect. So you'll notice when you study these things that this idea of folding over and lying down flat against the surface is going to be a benefit. So I'm going to sit here and tweak that for a moment, but without rolling the video. I'm just going to present the concept and then refine from there. So you can see already that sort of thing is already looking, wow, really beautiful. Let's do another one here. It might be nice. And I go back to chunky mode, which is number 1 on your keyboard, and doing these two really is a nice way of doing it. business around here. Let's see if we can get that to fold over. Sorry, it's a little tough. If you need to hit D for delta, your phonetic clarity, we can flip this around with less unpredictability. It really helps me to be able to orient that thing without fussing with it too much. I'm trying to get things done here, right? And I figure you will be too. Now, this yellow one is perpendicular to our viewing plane. So if you want to do a real fast thing, and I want to roll that forward, we're going to get to it in profile, roll it, and look at that. It does a pretty good job just using that method. So in combination, I trust this will all be very successful for you. Face. Going back to face mode, I'm turning the gizmo by hitting D and then getting out of it, just so I can advance this. Now, the cool thing is you want to sometimes overlap these. They might look really nice like this. And lay it flat. I'm going to have to push down on some of the leaf below so it doesn't chop through itself. Now, let's check it in 3. We hit number 3, and it gives us an approximation of how it's going to look when we actually smooth it. Smooth it, lattice. This is actually better than the one I did before. We'll do a small one here, because usually you'll find rhythms of 5. It'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as features. So right at the end, we're going to do this big. We're going to do some big ones here. Some big leaves. There's segments to the leaf, if you recall. We can look at them here. I trust you'll recognize in the Renaissance version of it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, it's complex shapes, but the basic is these five zones that comprise themselves of 1, 2, or 3. Of course, they have branching elements on top, and it's never perfect and exact, but 1, 2, 3 ends on each of the 3 elements that make up a grouping of leaves that looks like a essentially like one tiny leaf. It's all in how you sculpt it. You can see the artists have interpreted it in different ways. I think all that matters. But we're going to do our best to make something workable here. It's true, I spent a lot of time figuring this out. I'm going to hit the extrude tool. No, I'm just going to do it with this shift. I'm trying to make it fast and successful for you. Now you can also go in there and do a couple steps. I could go to make sure this thing wraps over. I could roll this and go another extrusion. And bring that over so it starts folding. This face here needs to be rolled over. Let's do it with the outer ring. Ooh, that's not working as I hoped. Why is that? Do I misunderstand? No? I think I get it. I think I see what's going on. This time I use edge tool to pull this and allow this thing to flop over so nicely. I'm going to turn from the side, see if I can roll them all like this to some degree so that I can bring them down. And of course it's chopping through here. I can just grab the vert from this side, go into wireframe mode and analyze it. Oh, that's a little too high. So is that one. Let's back those off a bit. I'm actually really excited about getting this to you so you can watch it. Now this side right here needs a little more pointy, so we'll go back to chunky mode number 1. 4. Let's grab these 2 and let's look at this. It's pinching pretty hard here. What's going on with this? let's see, 5. 5, 5, 5. Alright, here we go. Let's grab this edge. It's faster. It's a faster chess move to grab the edge. When you turn it to 3, you can just fly this around and make something soft and edgy that looks like it could be. I could get them to overlap a little bit. I think that would be nice. And get this one overlap a bit. Yeah, that looks. This end here, because 1, 2, 3. Now we need to do 2 more. 2 more. And that, I hope, gives you the right idea about how to do something like this. Okay, yeah, let's go with another. Let's do it from a little different spot so it has a different. I've been taking these from out here. Maybe this one comes right out of here as they get a little smaller as they back away. That's the artistic license. And I hope you recognize that there's a lot of artistic license going on with these acanthus leaves in classic art, classic fine art, sculpture. Wow, that one produced really quickly. Now, I feel like they need to break the profile a little bit. They need to stick out a little bit. That's what makes them more interesting. What is going on here? Why does that look like it's... Hold on. What's going on here? Oh. Just pinching. Make sure things don't pinch in an unappealing, and of course letting the geometry look like it's ill-conceived. I want to make these as graceful as possible. Let's see. I really bring that one in. Maybe I wanted them to overlap, but maybe one of them, as they get towards the back, they kick in a little bit. You can do almost anything you like with them. I've been studying this kind of thing for a while, so I'm seeing how the different artists handle this. And no two are alike. I guess that's kind of a good thing. Yeah, I'm not liking that. It's looking like there's too much strain on this part right here. Let's see if we can solve it. Let's go to chunky mode, a little more clear. Okay, that works. Now, with this being done like in this method, I can take some of these and adjust them. I'm just left mouse dragging them, which doesn't mean they're going to land exactly in the right spot, but it allows you to get them moving faster. I'm going to... Should I just bring them real close? I'm not... On the prior one, the prior demo, I actually merged them with the... I merged them with the target weld. And of course it makes triangles. But let's see if it makes a big deal here. 3, and let's click off of it. It thinks I hit. So it has a clean and smooth end. I think for that one we'll merge that and let that triangle be. At least it's terminating, and we know that the form is... It's the best practice for geometry. Mostly we want quads, but sometimes you have to break away from that. Look how neat that looks like that. Let's see if we can bring that kind of thing to... Do we want any shooting out the other way, or should we have these drape in some more? Let's put something at the end. Let's make a leaf almost like it's two heads. It goes through this serpentine look and then pops out the other side. Now, with this one, I tried something a little different before. Oh, what is that? What is this edge? What is this face in here? Delete. Oh, what is that? Is that something to be concerned about? You see if, yeah, there's something inside happening. Delete. Well, when we go into vertex face, let's see. Does anything look like it has a hidden edge in here somewhere, or hidden face? No, there's just a piece inside of it. That's really, really weird. I had never recognized that before. I wonder if that's how Mesh, Sweet Mesh works. It's part of the coding. I don't know, but this is good for now. I hope that you can understand. You could do more of this all over. You can also, I'll show you one more technique. You could go do another branching form by coming in here and going, create a new curve. I will use the most simple curve because I could use Bezier curve. I think that's fine. Let's go to wireframe on shaded so I can at least see where something might break away. Okay, definitely something here. If we wanted to, we could go it's backspacing out of it. I think I'll just do that. And then I'll do another one. I'll do a couple here. Yeah, do I think that would be cool? I think that would be interesting. All right, let's go and look at where they are and what shading, what face is closest, which is most available, because these need to pretty much come out of the face as perpendicularly as possible. That one looks a little challenging. What I'm going to do is extrude it along this curve. The face. This is when it works, it's pretty amazing. Let's give it a go. Let's save here as the best practice file. I've seen as no. Did I make one already? Oh, this is demo live. I should discern the difference. Demo live. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to do this. So when you go into face mode and you go into your extrude menu, I went to edit mesh extrude. Now I'm going to have this sitting here. We want to make sure selected for curve settings is here, okay? Taper, maybe something a little bit of a taper, and a division of 4 or 5. Let's do 5. Alright, so let's do it. Let's click on this face and shift, drag, click that one and go apply. Yes. Wow. Danger. Here, what's going on? Why won't it select? Sometimes it doesn't select well. Boy, that looks cool. Alright. And I just have to make some minor edits, but you can see hopefully see and inspire your creativity with this. I'm having a rough time. Let's go to the outliner and see which one is it. I should have labeled them like a good professional. Let's turn off the wireframe. You could see we could develop some pretty great stuff with this ability. I hope that creates inspiration. And reminds you to study the classics. I'm signing off on this one. We'll see you in the next very soon. Remember, build, play, and revel.